Hello everybody, welcome back to the September Makes podcast. I'm Claire, I'm a knitter and all-around quite creative person from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, and I study psychology. This podcast is mostly about knitting, although I do not exclude talking about other interests of mine on this channel. For example, cooking, music, a little bit of sewing maybe, although I'm not very good at it. Have I said music? I think I did say music, travel, and maybe some psychology talks, and generally just a little bit about my life. So yeah, welcome to this episode. This is episode 3, and today I wanted to share with you my newfound, I haven't stopped knitting in the summer at all, but my enthusiasm about knitting. Sweater season is back and I have a lot of knitting plans. So in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, it's been becoming a little bit chilly, especially in the morning and at night. It's around a little bit more than 10 degrees Celsius right now. I don't know how much it is in Fahrenheit, and I know a lot of you guys are from the US, so sorry about that. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you all of the patterns and the ideas I have for fall to hopefully maybe inspire you or just share my enthusiasm with you. So I do have a cup of hot coffee. Well, not that hot anymore because I had to set everything up. But I do have some coffee with me. I hope you have a beverage with you, a nice cozy beverage. And yeah, welcome to this podcast. So today I have actually 8 patterns and one sort of honorable mention to tell you about. I'm going to explain all of that later. So I thought that a little bit of variety, wow, already struggling with English, is the spice of life. So yeah, there is in my plans to tell you about today 1 slipover, 2 long sleeve sweaters, 1 3/4 sleeve sweater, 1 t-shirt, 1 like decor piece, 1 pair of socks, and 1 neck or collar. So there are a lot of big patterns, but also some small ones, some palette cleansers? I'm not sure, sorry. So yeah, this is a very, well, optimistic, and what's the word? Ambitious. Here it is. A very ambitious list. I'm not saying I'm going to knit everything, but I was just getting all my yarns out of its storage, which is mainly on shelves some time ago being yesterday evening. And I just got really inspired with all my yarn and just like the colors, and I have so much yarn now which I'm going to have to do something about. Probably gonna be one of my next videos. And yeah, I had actually forgotten that I had some of this yarn in beautiful autumn or fall colors, so I got very enthusiastic about it, and I wanted to quickly hop on here to tell you everything about my project, which is going to, for one, keep me a little bit accountable, although, as I was saying, very optimistic list. Probably not gonna knit all of it, but I'll try my best to knit a few pieces. So yeah, I think that's all for my introduction. So yeah, don't hesitate about posting a comment. Comments on my previous videos have been so lovely, and it's really what keeps me going, I think. It's just like the interaction with you and just like general talk, and I make a point to reply to every single comment, liking it or replying something if I have something to add to the conversation. So yeah, subscribe if you want to. I also have a new Instagram. There's almost nothing on here, but I'm going still to link it in the description bar. You can check it out if you want to. And yeah, I think that is all, so hope you enjoyed the video. So the first pattern I want to tell you about is the Weekend Slipover V-neck by Petite Knit. This slipover is just, I think, my favorite slipover that I've seen on Ravelry. I was kind of looking through like slipover patterns because I do have a lot of yarn that I just like barely have enough to make a slipover or maybe a t-shirt, but not enough for a full sweater. So I was just thinking about options to use it. And well, stumbled on slipovers and thought it was such a good idea for those kind of chilly autumn days where, well, it's still kind of warm inside, or even maybe the heating is already on, but you still want to have a cozy layer without being too warm. So this pattern, excuse me while I check, the gauge is 15 by 20 stitches to make 10 centimeters or 4 inches. This is bulky yarn. So I did not have any bulky yarn in sufficient quantities and in colors that I liked to make that slipover. So what I decided to try it on, and what I'm going to knit it in, is probably the first pattern that I'm going to knit this autumn. I have a few things to finish first, but then this is going to be full knitting, and I'm very enthusiastic about it. So I decided to knit it in this beautiful combo. So I'm also going to insert pictures and, well, videos rather, of the yarn close up so that you can see and I don't struggle with the auto-focused all the time. So this is yarn, this one, the Viking of Norway yarn. This is Eco Highland wool. This is 100% wool, made in Peru but produced by Viking of Norway. I bought it when I was in a little, well, not so little, in Fredrikstad in Norway this summer, and I have, I think, 5 skeins of it, which is a lot of skeins, but not, well, it's not a sweater quantity of yarn. So what I decided to do is pair it. The slipover is knitted with mohair and another like big chunky wool. I'm going to pair it with this, which is Plötulopi by Ístex. I cannot remember the color name. There's a little bit of like dried weed, not weed, like grass on it. It's very rustic. It's an unspun yarn, as you're going to be able to see in the video, and it has a wonderful halo. It is so beautiful, and I thought that in order to replace mohair while making the yarn thicker, so that I can use this pattern, which is designed for bulky yarn, I could pair the both of them. And I actually knit a swatch with the both yarns. Am I in focus? Hope I am in focus. Wait a second. I think I am. I knitted a tiny swatch because, well, Plötulopi, as it's unspun, it's a very nice yarn. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about it now, actually. So this is just one strand of wool like that, you know, and it's not spun on itself, so it's very fragile. If you can just pull it apart like that. See? But it's quite, the fibers of the wool, well, the sheep, are very long. So actually what's interesting is that if you pull it close together like that, it's quite solid. It's quite resistant. So yeah, and I thought it was going to be such a good alternative to mohair, to knit that and make it thicker. Here is my swatch. It's very little, and I actually removed the needles from it because I needed them for another project that I'm going to show you in the next podcast. So if you can maybe see the swatch, it's not going to focus, is it? Well, never mind. It's pretty much, well, not spot on. I think it's a little bit This is a little bit bigger. It's only 14 stitches per 10 centimeters or 4 inches, and the pattern calls for 15 stitches by 10 centimeters. So I think I'm going to knit a size M. I want it to be baggy, I want it to be boxy, but not like huge. So I think M is good because my gauge is a little bit too big. So yeah, that is the first project that I want to knit, and I'm very enthusiastic about it. I don't own any sleepover, I've never knitted a sleepover, so that's gonna be a first. And I think the yarn combo and the color is just lovely, it gives such a good halo. It's gonna be warm but also wearable, unlike for example a sweater in this yarn combo might be a little bit too warm. I feel like a sleepover, there's more air going through it, like with the armholes and like the v-neck. And also I've become absolutely fascinated and in love with v-necks since I knit this sweater, which is actually, if you recognize it from my first podcast ever, this is only the third one. I'm talking like I have like 26 episodes out, which is not the case. But yeah, I've become absolutely enamored with v-necks. You can see it's so beautiful. I love them, and I tend to wear a lot of v-necks I have a lot of v-necks in my store-bought clothes. So yeah, kind of obsessed with v-necks right now. So my second pattern that I want to tell you about is a free one by Espace Tricot. Is the Gingerbread sweater. So this sweater is knit in a gauge of 21 by 28. It's normally a light fingering plus a mohair, but I feel like I love mohair, it's beautiful, but it's very warm. So I actually needed a little bit of a crop top, like not super crop, but still a little crop, because I love wearing high-waisted, quite smart pants. Well, not pants, but trousers. Sorry. And yeah, I just really wanted a warm colored, nice sweater like this. So yeah, I decided to knit it in Alpaca by Drops in this beautiful color. I feel like it appears a little bit more red or orangey on the camera. I don't know if it's because the light is better, but I see it as a little bit more on the brown copper side. Oh well. This is a beautiful color. I love it. So I thought, as the alpaca yarn is a little bit thicker than like Flora, for example, by Drops, which is one of my favorite yarns ever. It's 167 meters or 183 yards by 50 grams. So I thought I could get away without the mohair and make it a little bit more lightweight and a little less warm for autumn. So yeah, this is definitely something I cannot wait to knit. I only have 5 balls of yarn though, so I don't know if it's going to be enough. I haven't swatched for this project at all, but I was thinking maybe instead of knitting the full sleeves like to the wrist, maybe make it like 3/4 in case I don't have enough yarn. And if I see, I will knit the body first and the collar, and well, I think it's 100% knitted top down. So I will see. In case I don't have enough yarn for the full sleeves, I might make it short sleeve or 3/4 sleeve, so I can just use this beautiful yarn that I have and that has been in my stash for quite a while. So I'm seeing that my computer is running out of battery slowly, so what I'm going to do, because I need it to record the audio, is just tell you about my third pattern, and then I will be coming back. Well, it's going to be right now for you. So the third thing I cannot wait to knit for fall is actually not a pattern, it's something that I want to design myself. It's going to be quite basic. I will mostly focus it on the colors, but I want it to be, I cannot like add a photo because I don't have any photo of it because it doesn't exist. I want in it a big, boxy, oversized t-shirt that's going to be quite cropped and quite large, and just to wear over dresses, maybe to wear over a long skirt, or even high-waisted trousers, or even jeans. Maybe jeans. I don't know. I will see. So for this project, I want to use Drops Nepal yarn. So this is the gauge of this yarn is 17 by 22. So I think it's a DK. Yeah, probably a DK. Maybe bordering on worsted. And what I want to do is kind of knit it in big chunky stripes or color block maybe. I was thinking of knitting it in white as the base color, and then adding a lot of this forest green that I have left over from my Christmas jumper that I showed you in my first episode, and a little accent color in this mustard shade that I love. I don't have a lot of yarn, and especially Nepal is a yarn that you will need a lot of to knit a jumper. So even though this is a t-shirt, I want it to be quite boxy and quite large, oversized. So I thought, in case I don't have enough yarn, I do have some leftover other yarn. Well, to be clear, I have like 6 balls of white, so I should be alright with the green and a little bit of yellow, but in case, I do have some Nepal in, also left over from my Christmas sweater, in brown. I don't know the shade, I'll link it, and if really I think that it lacks a lot of color, well, this is not truly a color, this is also Nepal, but it's super old. This is literally one of the first skeins that I've bought, so I think I crocheted like squares when I was first starting to meddle in fiber arts, and I frogged it, and now I have a very round bowl. It's a beige, and I was thinking maybe all these colors together could be really nice, but I think I'm going to focus primarily on these 3 colors because I think they look very nice together. The fourth thing that I'm really excited to make this fall is actually a decorative piece, or I don't really know how to call it, but basically it's these pumpkins, knitted or crocheted, so if you sometimes prefer to crochet, that might be a pattern for you, which are called the Spice and Clove Knit and Crochet Pumpkins by Hannah Meyer. So yeah, I want to knit that in Drops Tweed for the base color of the pumpkin, and for the leaves I do have some Rauma Inca yarn left, which is I think a good color to knit leaves, like pumpkin leaves with. I think the two are quite nice together. Or I also have a little leftover Snow by Drops, which is I think a super bulky yarn, but this is a pattern you can definitely tweak. It's free, by the way, and I thought it would make these wonderful little autumn decorations to have around, which would look very, very cute. So this is originally knit in Wool of the Ants by Knitpex Sport. But yeah, I think for decorations I don't really mind the size that the pumpkins turn out to be, so why not? The fifth thing that I would really like to knit in autumn, this is actually a pattern it's so simple, but at the same time it's quite original. It's all in rib stitch, which I've never done on like a sweater size. It's called Marja or Marja by Junko Okamoto. She's a quite famous designer. She designed the rug sweater, which is a free pattern that I really, really would like to make. I've never knitted anything by this designer. But yeah, this is a fingering weight pattern. And I thought that I was going to use some Holst garn. I actually have a few cones of Holst garn. And although sometimes, well, all the time really, I will not knit the pattern that I choose in the same color as the sample piece by the designer. This time I just really fell in love with the color combination. It's a combination that I would have never thought of, but turns out that I do have all the colors, although her color on the bottom of the sweater is a sort of khaki brownish green. I do not have this color unfortunately, but I do have this forest green that I love. I am absolutely obsessed with forest green. I feel like, especially for autumn, it's such a, it's not warm toned, but it's such a whimsical color that just goes with everything almost, I think. So yeah, I was thinking to knit in the light grey, this color, and for the accent color I also hesitated with this color, which is more of an oatmeal. I think it's called almond. I'll write all the colors here on the screen. This is also a beautiful yarn, and I thought goes quite well together, but I think I'm going to I think I'm going to stick with the grey color. Also, it actually fell on the floor. I don't know where it fell on the floor, but it's somewhere on the floor. I did oh, it's not on the floor, it's on my lap. Oh my god, I need some sleep. This color, in case I did not want to use my green, this color could have been a good possible choice, but I think it goes a little less perfectly with the grey. I don't know. I will see. It's going to, well, we'll see. So as I was saying, for the accent color, she uses in the sample sweater a beautiful red, and I do have some red Holst garn also. This is a beautiful shade. Sorry, like that. This is a beautiful shade, but I was wondering if it would be maybe a little bit too bright and too in your face, as just like a little line. So if I find it to be too bright when I knit it, I also have an alternative, which is this cone. All cones really, it's gonna be a pleasure to knit. I don't especially like knitting with cones, but oh well. I do have a lot of them, so I'm gonna use them. This is a little bit less bright, as you can see. It's way more wine red, and this is a dark red, but still quite bright. So this, and I mean the gauge matches with Holst garn, so why not? I might try it. This is one of the cones that I bought in Hamburg in the Wollfabrik, which was a whole experience in itself. Maybe if you're interested in that, it's at the end of my previous episode. I talked about this beautiful yarn shop, which is unlike any other thing that I've seen so far. So here it is. Okay, so I'm gonna drink a little bit of my coffee now. I hope you have a warm beverage with you. I'm currently drinking just some normal coffee, but with homemade hazelnut milk. This is a forget-me-not mug that my best friend gave me some years ago. Not very autumn-like, but these are my favorite flowers with sunflowers. So yeah, homemade hazelnut milk. If you've not tried it, I might even make a video about how I make it. It's my recent obsession, just trying to make plant milk with everything that I own in my house. Maybe exaggerating a little, but this is excellent. I just put it with coffee and a little bit of maple syrup, and it's just very good. So here we are. I think we're on to the 6th pattern that I want to tell you about, which is actually also not a pattern. I don't know what came over me, but I just felt like designing things, or, well, maybe not designing. I don't have any knowledge in design, but just free-handing things, I guess. So I really wear a lot of quite form-fitting jumpers. Quite like thin ones, but thin ones who maintain heat a lot, and I like to layer them in the winter, and in autumn sometimes you can get away with just wearing that without any like outer layer, and sometimes I will put on a coat. So I wear a lot of them, and I have some secondhand cashmere ones, but I was thinking all of my cashmere jumpers are in black and in sorry and in grey. I don't know why I couldn't find the name. So yeah, I thought that I was probably in dire need of a green one. I've been enjoying green so much lately. 3 of my current projects are green. So yeah, on that idea, this is a quite, oops, sorry, it fell on the floor. Here it is. This is quite an interesting combination. This is all Drops yarn. This is Alpaca by Drops. I have 5 skeins of that, and this is Kid Silk. Together, I actually stole the idea from a podcaster that I've already mentioned here. She's called Emma, and her podcast is named Tricolibri. It's in French, so sorry about that if you don't speak French. It's one of my favorite knitting podcasts. She's very prolific, and she gives great idea. And she actually knits, how is it called? I can't remember the name of the sweater. By Petite Knit, a very no-frill sweater. Here it is. And she did use this combination, this exact, like, I think down to the color, this is a combination that she used. I think she knit it for her mom's 70th birthday or something like that. And I fell in love with the combination, and I have these skeins. I've had these skeins, sorry, in my stash for quite a while without knitting anything. So I thought, well, why not use them? I just love the combination. It's very, very autumn-like, but in general, all of the yarn that I want to use is quite like this for the other, the gingerbread sweater. It's very autumn-like, and I'm so enthusiastic about trying it out. So yeah, I haven't swatched it, but yeah, I think it should be a nice jumper. Hopefully I have enough yarn. In case I don't have enough yarn, as for the gingerbread sweater, I'm just going to make it 3/4 sleeves. I also want it to be quite form-fitting, so we'll see what I can do. Yeah, so this is it for the jumpers. Now I want to make some socks. I've been craving socks for this autumn because the heating is not on in my house and my feet get quite cold. So I thought, why not use this yarn that I have? It's Sandnes Garn Perfect. This is a DK weight yarn. It's 80% wool and 20% nylon, so quite sturdy. And I really want to knit myself some DK socks. I don't know which pattern I'm going to use. I think there's a pattern like in the inside of the band, so maybe I might knit this pattern. I'll see. Or I also really wanted to like make cables and stuff, but I've actually never knitted cables, so maybe that's a little bit too ambitious of me. Maybe I'll stick to regular DK socks. I also love the color. It's a caramel color, also just perfect for autumn. I've been craving just warm tone colors and greens and rusty, and well, generally it's colors that I love, but yeah. Now the last pattern I want to tell you about, well, not actually the last, technically the last, is the Terrazzo. neck by Petite Knit. Once again, I really love this designer. So I want to knit this pattern in Alaska by Drops. Here it is. It's quite messy and a little bit disorganized. Here it is. And Drops Kid Silk. So you may not be, well, maybe. This is a cream color. This is the natural shade of Mohair by Drops. And this is also a natural shade, but it's way more yellow. It doesn't bother me. I have enough to knit this sweater, and well, not a sweater. Oh my god, I'm starting to become tired of talking out loud. To knit this neck, and it's a concept that I love. You can just like wear. I have a long coat, a black coat for winter, and I thought that just like the cream with the black would just be super nice. And I love wearing big shawls and scarves in winter, and this just looks, when you're only wearing your I just said the word, your coat. It looks like you're wearing a full sweater, but without having the added, well, it's quite thick on the sleeves, so I thought that was a great idea. And for fall, it's just very warm, but not too warm like a sweater could be in that material. So yeah, I just love it. Also knitting it in the same color as the pattern, just like a cream color. So yeah, I cannot wait for that. I also wanted to tell you about one last pattern, kind of a honorable mention, if I may say so. This is the Beauty School by Poison Girls. Yeah, so I really wanted to knit that pattern because, as I said, I love wearing some form-fitting, quite thin jumpers, but which like keep heat inside. And I thought this pattern would be absolutely perfect. So she doesn't sell them on Ravelry, you have to go on her own website. But I saw that the pattern is currently at $12.75. So yeah, I could not really justify spending more than double on a single pattern, but I would have maybe knitted it with Flora yarn or even Holst garn, probably more Flora because it's softer and it's not something that you're gonna wear a camisole or something underneath generally. But yeah, I still wanted to mention it in case you're interested in that sort of pattern, and maybe give you inspiration if you're actually didn't like, there's some, I need to weave in ends. That's not the part that I like the most about knitting. So yeah, I think I am done with all the inspiration, the full inspiration that I wanted to tell you about. I hope that you like this video. It's a little bit shorter than my other videos, my other two videos that I filmed. But yeah, I really wanted to tell you about all of that and share just my knitting enthusiasm and for sweater season with someone who would get it. The whole, well, knitting mojo is really, really, really back. Also, there's a little bit of fabric here. I am not a good sewer, unfortunately, but when I was in the US, in New York, I went to Michael's in Chelsea, and I was actually looking for some needles because I grabbed the wrong size of needles with me, but I did not find any that were suitable for plain carry-on, so I did not buy any and just like put my knitting on pause for a second. But I did find some beautiful, beautiful fabric that was actually 50% off at Michael's, so I paid $5 for this beautiful autumn fabric. I just fell in love, and what I think I will do is make myself a simple project bag, just probably with strings, just like that you can pull together. I will see what I do. I think, yeah, it's quite a big piece. It's almost 1 meter by 1 meter, 36 inches by 44. So yeah, probably gonna make a few a few project bags with that. I'll see what I do, but I just wanted to show it to you in the spirit of fall themed things. Yeah, it's 100% cotton, so I'll see what I do with it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful beginning of autumn and that you're very enthusiastic about knitting, or at least that I could give you a little bit of inspiration or just motivation sharing with you all my picks for this season. So yeah, next podcast is going to be definitely a regular podcast, just me sharing with you what I've knitted so far and what I'm working on and my plans and all of that. But in the meantime, I still wanted to hop on here and share a bit with you because I'm beginning to this is not the right word. I'm beginning to be more at ease with the idea of being on camera. And yeah, I kind of missed it, like the whole process, which just takes so much time, but yeah, oh well. So all of that to say, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and well, bye.